Alex Pereira, UFC 303. This guy, what more can we say about him? What more can we say about him? I want to see him at heavyweight right away. I think if there's an opportunity where we can see a guy become the first triple champ ever in UFC history, we need to do that ASAP. He had the perfect path to becoming the first triple champ in UFC. So first and foremost, you have to kill yourself to make the lowest weight class, and that's what he did. Reminded me of like McGregor 145. And then his natural weight class is light heavyweight. And then obviously he can definitely go to heavyweight because on Fight Night he weighed 230. So he definitely has that ability to chase that triple champ status. And of course, Ankalaev is right there. He deserves a title shot, and he is the matchup that we all want to see Pereira fight. You know, this guy, he's the most accomplished kickboxer in kickboxing history. He is running through the UFC at this point. He's setting records every time he fights. He's the most active fighter in the game right now, and he's demolishing everyone, and he's making it look easier, and he's getting better. The rematch, he looked better. Yeah, so Ankalaev Pereira is the next matchup at middleweight, or sorry, not middleweight, light heavyweight for sure. And the only reason that's probably going to happen next is the fact that the timelines don't really add up for a heavyweight fight. Like Dana White said in the post-fight press conference that everyone wants to see it. Joe Rogan wants to see it. It's clear as day that everyone wants to see Pereira like just make records every time he fights. And if he fights at heavyweight and wins a championship, that's like one of the craziest records we will ever see. But it's not really we're gonna have to wait for that because we got Jones Stipe that Dana White is for sure gonna make. And then we also have Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blade for the interim heavyweight title. And then the winner of both are probably going to fight each other. And then Pereira's probably going to fight the winner of that. I would assume if that's even a thing when that happens. This fight card just shows that crazy things happen. So timelines are not set in stone, obviously, because shit just changes every day with MMA. But that fight's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But it's definitely possible for it to happen if some shit changes or if just Pereira keeps knocking everyone out. And I have to give myself a little credit. It wasn't the hardest fight to predict, in all honesty. Like I said in my breakdown video that I don't think Jiri has this style to follow the game plan where you're gonna have the best ability to beat Alex Pereira, and that's just like a dirty boxing, clinching up against the fence, taking him down for 5 rounds. Yuri's just not that guy. He's a wild man. You can't have your hands low against Alex Pereira, guys. You can't do that. You can't mess around with this guy. He is the scariest puncher, kicker, striker we've ever seen. Like, it's just different when this guy touches you. And you need to take notice, and I don't care if it's not your style to have a high guard. You better develop it quick in that fight camp because that's what you get paid for. And if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of brain cells in the process. So I want to see him fight a heavy wrestler. That's what I want to see. As much as I love seeing Pereira knock everyone out, that's sick. But I just want to see him get really tested in the grappling and see how that plays out because it's interesting. Like Ankalaev, he's a big guy. He's a wrestler. He's also a striker. And that's a good test for Alex Pereira because he's definitely going to test his grappling more than we've ever seen before. Am I betting for Ankalaev? I mean, recency bias is like through the roof right now, but it's hard to just bet against Pereira in anything. I don't know. It's just crazy. This guy's just unbelievable. I felt like such a little kid watching that fight. Like when they were staring down, I was like, ooh, oh my God, this is crazy. I was like a little kid at a birthday party. I was like, this is insane. They're doing it again. They had another, like the greatest stare down ever in UFC history. They did it again. They might have even topped it. And it's just like, I felt like a kid last night and I was watching it by myself. It's just, I love this sport so much, guys. And I know you do too. If you're spending your free time watching some random guy break it down on the internet, which I appreciate. I love you guys so much. It's just unbelievable. I love Alex Pereira. What he's done in such a short period of time is it's unbelievable. Like he is a fan favorite and he is the most deserving of being a fan favorite. He doesn't do anything crazy. He's just himself. He knocks everyone out. He is active. He's winning. He is everything you'd want in a UFC champion. Like Dana White, no wonder. He even said, this guy deserves to be the biggest superstar in the UFC right now. McGregor's not fighting. He's not the biggest superstar in the UFC right now because he's not fighting. He's a global icon, outside of the UFC, and it's crazy the fact that he was supposed to even fight last night, but he didn't because of the broken toe. And just bringing up the broken toe, Pereira freaking broke his toe on Yuri's head. It's just wild how the story plays out. It's just crazy. And then we got Alex Pereira giving Nina a zin in the back, like to make this guy even more likable. Like, I don't know if you guys do zins. I do my occasional zin, and now I'm like influenced. I'm like, yo, if I want to develop crazy KO power, I gotta buy like 4 tins of zins and do them every day. I just love this guy so much. He's such as us Canadians say it, he's a beauty. He's a beauty. He's so likable, and he's so intimidating. Jamal Hill is like saying, oh, I'm gonna get a big win, and then I'm gonna see you soon. And then Alex just, okay. Like Jamal Hill, that guy's, we got Alex Pereira as like the most likable, and then Jamal Hill's like he's dropping drastically every single day with everything he tweets. It's just polar opposite of what you want to do as a UFC fan if you want to develop a loyal fan base. Just do the polar opposite of Jamal Hill. This guy's talking so much shit about Alex Pereira. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna do this and that. Pereira's like, yo, is this guy okay? I've knocked him out like 6 months ago, and he's still talking. That's crazy. Whatever. Talking all this shit. Sees Pereira in public and shakes his hand. What's up, man? And then Pereira's like, shakes it. Dude, stone cold, man. That guy doesn't care. He's like, you say whatever you want. Like, if it comes down to it, you're going to die. I don't care what you say. That is crazy. I love him. I love him so much. Easily one of my favorite fighters to watch right now. So I thought this fight was going to end up in a flying knee. Pereira has done that in his UFC debut. Yuri was ducking his head a lot his whole UFC career, but especially in their first fight. And I thought that was what was going to happen. I'm lagging. But then social media just changes everything these days, because his coach was saying, we noticed something on social media that of a picture or a video that the UFC posted of Yuri just warming up, and he was practicing his checking his calf kicks, because one of Alex Pereira's best weapons behind that left hook, and he's checking the calf kicks, and he realized he's checking it with his hands low. Why would you do that? Alex Pereira, like common sense, high guard, check, boom. But he noticed it, and he's like, yo, okay, so instead of throwing the calf kick, because he's gonna have his hands low and he's checking, switch it up and throw it to the head. Boom, he did it 13 seconds into the second round, knocked him out. Perfect stoppage this time. People were saying a little late. Daniel Cormier was like, yo, Alex Pereira turns people into a Karen because he hits so hard that you just want the fight stopped immediately. And, you know, DC's a beauty, so no hate to that whatsoever. Could have been stopped right away, whatever. But I think just the fact that the last fight was stopped early, I'd rather see it get played out a little bit longer, especially if it's for a title. Like, I think that was a perfect stoppage. Maybe a couple punches too late, but it's never going to be perfect. It's always either going to be too early or too late. And if it's for a title, and especially the fighters would agree, it's better if it's going to be a little bit late. Just not like a Mario Yamasaki or Tamagotchi, whatever the fuck his name is, kind of stoppage where you're going to die in probably 2 weeks. As long as it's not like that, we are good. And then I saw a tweet and it went viral. This is going to make a good clip, and it was Alex Pereira is higher on the GOAT list than Khabib Nurmagomedov. First and foremost, why are we even talking about this? I know, like, it just shows how dominant Khabib is. If we're just going to have to always compare a fighter to Khabib, like, who cares? Who cares? But, I mean, who's more accomplished? I mean, isn't it Alex Pereira? Who's the more dominant fighter? It's Khabib Nurmagomedov. We didn't see Khabib get flatlined. So, giving Alex Pereira all his credit, but it's just two different conversations. And at the end of the day, Pereira is 30? He's doing this at like 37 years old too, guys. That's unbelievable. And that's perfect time to go up to heavyweight, because the heavyweight's an older weight class. What does Pereira have? Two title defenses at light heavyweight. He has 2 different belts. Yeah, like it's probably Pereira on the GOAT list. I would assume that. I can understand that, but then people just get confused with the topic of GOAT list compared to who's like the more dominant fighter. Khabib will always be number 1 on my list for that. And then Pereira's just, he's higher on the GOAT list probably. More accomplished. Makes sense. I'm not going to hate that. And another thing that's funny, if we're bringing up the Jamal Hill situation too, is Israel Adesanya was, he talked shit about Pereira being that guy, saying, oh, I beat that guy one day at the bar. Now Izzy's that guy. He tweeted a video or edit of him knocking out Alex Pereira last night when Alex Pereira won. Now he's that guy saying, I beat that guy once. Funny how things switch up. Izzy probably should have kept his mouth shut, because he just created the greatest UFC career, one of the greatest rises we've ever seen in the history of this sport. Thank you, Izzy. Please keep doing your thing, because this is just awesome. I love seeing this guy fight. Alex Pereira is without a doubt the face of the UFC right now. And this guy doesn't even speak English, and everyone loves him. I love it. It's so sick, man. I'm a huge fan of Pereira, and I just love seeing him win.